Okay, the next question becomes, how can I gain muscle as a person living with type 1 diabetes? Okay, this is very common actually in the world of type 1 diabetes because there's a lot of individuals who are not trying to lose weight. In fact, they're trying to gain weight, specifically by gaining muscle. Okay, how can you do that? Is it just as simple as eating more food? Should I be eating more protein? How am I going to gain muscle? There's a lot of confusion in the world about muscle gain and protein consumption. And it can seem pretty logical that if you're trying to gain weight and you're trying to gain primarily muscle because muscle is made out of protein, then all you have to do is just eat more protein. But I will tell you one thing very, very plainly. You cannot eat your way into more muscle by itself. I will say that one more time. You cannot eat your way into more muscle by itself. If I were to theoretically eat a diet that is very high in protein and just continue to eat that diet, I would not gain muscle mass. The reason is because muscle mass is a reaction to another physiological state known as hypertrophy. So effectively, what you have to do if you want to gain muscle, either living with type 1 diabetes or not, is you have to induce muscular hypertrophy, which is a complicated scientific way of describing placing your musculature in a high work environment that stimulates the muscle tissue to grow. Okay. You can perform exercises that are usually weight-bearing exercises that require the use of either your body as resistance or external weights as resistance. And if you perform strength training routines that stimulate a hypertrophic process, what that means is that the muscle tissue is used significantly during the workout. And then in the post-workout state, the muscle tissue becomes very hungry for nutrients, including glucose and amino acids and fatty acids. And then in addition to that, the muscle is also poised to grow because if it can grow just a little bit stronger, then it's going to be able to withstand the same amount of strength training, if not a little bit more, the next time. So number one, if you're trying to gain muscle, you must induce muscle hypertrophy, period, end of story. Then number two, when refueling your muscle tissue and when refueling your body in general, I don't want you to worry specifically about how much protein you're eating. In general, our recommendations are to eat somewhere between 1.0 and 1.6 grams of protein per kilogram ideal body weight per day. And if you can achieve that, then you're providing yourself with a significant amount of amino acids that are going to enable you to recover from the hypertrophic movements that are then going to stimulate muscle tissue to grow. So all you have to do is calculate your ideal body weight in kilograms and then multiply that number either by 1.0 or 1.2 or 1.4 or 1.6, depending on how active you are. The higher your activity level, the higher your protein intake could be. And those numbers are going to give you an indicator of approximately how much protein to consume on a daily basis. The last thing I'll say about this is that people over obsess about how much protein they should be eating on a daily basis, but they forget to understand that carbohydrate is absolutely a very important macronutrient for muscle growth as well. Okay. The reason for that is because your muscle stores glucose as glycogen. And when you refuel your muscle tissue post-workout with predominantly carbohydrate with some protein in it, the carbohydrate gets broken down into glucose. The glucose gets stored as glycogen inside of your muscle tissue. That will enable you to perform more work. And by performing more work, you can then induce more of a hypertrophic state. You can then also refuel again with more carbohydrate and some protein. And this process enables you to gain mass over the course of time. This video was just a snippet of a much more in-depth discussion. Click on the link on the screen to check out the full-length episode. Now, the science behind health is overly complicated, unfortunately, but getting healthy doesn't have to be. Visit masteringdiabetes.org/start. Answer some questions about yourself and schedule a free consultation to talk with somebody on our team who's going to show you exactly how we've transformed the lives of thousands of people using the Mastering Diabetes method. We have a limited number of spots available, and that's why it's imperative to find a good fit. Again, visit masteringdiabetes.org/start to schedule a free zero commitment discovery call and start taking control of your health today.